That's number one. There are other things you should be doing to reduce your risk not only of the heart attack, but also of the side effects. So let's go for some Staten Island calls. Brian in San Luis Obispo on the internet calling the Savage Nation. You're a nurse. Go ahead, please, with Staten horror stories.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to see one of the worst side effects, the absolute worst one. It's called rhabdomyolysis. Myelosis means the lysing or breaking up of cells. Those cramps that you feel are actually your muscle tissue being broken down. And the thing about muscle tissue is that you don't regenerate, you don't get more. After your mid-teens, men stop making more muscle tissue. So you actually have an atrophy, a permanent atrophy when you're taking this. Well, we had a patient once that was complaining of severe thigh cramping and calf cramping to the point where he was in a fetal position. And we brought him into the emergency room, brought him down into the ER. The ER doc took a look at him, and the patient had a problem expressing with what the actual pain was. So they started massaging, trying to straighten out his legs. I took him to the bathroom to help him pee, and then he peed what looked literally like pureed top round.
Oh, my God. He was peeing out his protein?
He was peeing out the elements of his muscle tissues that were...
Yes, he was peeing out his muscles were so broken down that it was coming out of his urine?
Well, what happens is that your body filters the broken muscle tissue when you have the acute rhabdomyolysis, when you have the more aggressive form. That you experienced a very mild form of it with your muscle cramping. When he experienced it, it was a complete breakdown, and the big problem there is that all the pieces and fragments of your muscle tissues will block your kidneys, and then you'll go into kidney failure because they can't get blood. So you got to get to an emergency room right away so they can get a bolus of...
But let me you're talking about an extreme example of a side effect of Statin use. Was this the first dose or a continuous dose?
This was a continuous dose along with polypharmacy, other medications. He had severe psychosis, so he wasn't able to express the buildup of pain or
so he kept taking the drug without telling the doctor what he was feeling, and they didn't know. What about elevated levels of CPK, creatinine, and kinase, muscle enzyme? Did you see any increased CPK?
His enzymes were he was in a great deal of trouble, and so they were able to combat that, and they took him off. Here's one thing though that I believe, I'm making a prediction here from seeing long-term use of statins. I believe that you're going to see irreversible muscle atrophy. You're going to see men in their 70s that look like they're in their 90s or 100s because of the statin use. Your body harvests the cholesterol from your cells in order to satisfy the body's absolute need for cholesterol. It's not a bad thing. It's just too much.
Absolutely. Cholesterol is a precursor to many important hormones,
including the phospholipid bilayer of our cells. And so the body goes and harvests what it doesn't need. Now, it's not going to harvest the nerves, it's not going to harvest the brain, but it will harvest the muscle. So when you hear guys bragging about how low their HDL is, or their LDL, or their cholesterol, triglycerides, and they've been using these medications for a long time, you take a look, they start to appear sinewy. They start to appear like those centurions do that wander around the convalescent homes. And that's a prediction that I'm waiting to see happen.
The sort of the muscle wasting disease almost.
But it's self placed upon by the use of these statins, and then have.
But do the doctors recognize that the drugs are causing this?
Well, that's the thing, is that with the BMI, that false scale that says half of all Olympic athletes are overweight, when you muscle waste, you get more in the target weight that is desired by the American government, by the AMA. And so what you end up having is your doctor, you being your cheerleader, saying, "Oh, isn't this great? You're losing weight."
I see. The more emaciated you look, the healthier you are.